And good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holotheatre. I think by now you're used to seeing us, or at least me, on Holotheatre. Joining me tonight, if you don't recognize him, is two of the guys who started this hall, Jerry Queso Sauce and
Hello.
Robbie Hendon, R. Hendon. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing great, or I'm doing great.
Yeah, doing great. Queso answer for me
I like how Robbie's in his full powder blue,
with blue Gatorade.
with blue Gatorade. So
We're all in blue. I just realized
apparently,
that.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
all in blue tonight. Like your
Yeah, but
Avalanche,
Totally planned that.
yeah,
yeah,
I'm repping my Oilers
yeah.
till the day I die.
I'm sorry. So
Hey, whatever.
tonight's a little bit of a special episode. Uh, I don't know who's been counting, but apparently it's our 100th episode of with the new format. So, uh, 100 episodes of Hollow Theater. This just seems crazy to me.
It's super cool. Like I, I'm so proud of especially last year I had to kind of take a step back, and so many good volunteers stepped up to keep it going and do that and to reach a milestone like this. It's nothing that I ever planned on getting to when we started this thing up. So congrats, Dan. Especially you deserve a lot of the credit because you've been real active about keeping it going and all that. So to hit this number of episodes, and even if quote unquote we had some episodes before you took over and stuff, like it didn't really become like as efficient and as good as it is now without you. So thanks to everybody who's been watching, to everybody
Yeah.
who's hated. Um, this is super cool, and I'm so glad that we got to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Jerry. Like, I mean, I can't say enough props to you, Dan, for continuing it. I mean, it. Jerry and I know it's not easy to keep doing it every week. It takes a lot of work. There's, things you have to do behind the scenes, and to always be consistently able to do it on a weekly basis for 100 episodes is impressive.
Well, first of
Um,
all, I'm just going to interrupt you for a second. It's been 100 episodes. I haven't done 100 episodes myself. Uh,
Sure,
I've done 95.
sure,
so,
but
I mean,
even still,
that's
you know,
still ridiculous. I mean, that's, a year and a half, almost 2 years worth of just straight every week doing this. That's dedication, commitment, hard work, sacrifice. And I think it's really beneficial to the PC to have it, and it's great for our community and our game. I don't know how many other 20-year-old dead games still have
Mm-hmm.
a following to be able to put on something on Twitch every week and get viewers and people, watching and everything like that. So, major props to you, Dan, for keeping it going and, you know, being there when, me and Jerry had to bow out.
yeah, 100%. And I mean, thanks to everybody who like on Twitch has been watching us, every week or most of the time. People who have subscribed to our channel. It's that was one of the biggest reasons why we kind of wanted to do like a weekly show, is to get the PC's Twitch channel to the you have to reach a certain level of like content per week or month or whatever
Yeah.
to actually be able to take subscriptions, and that was a big key of what we wanted to do when me and Robbie set to do this out. Was not only do we want to create content and have more engagement with the fans and the community, but we wanted to use the available resources that we had to help the PC out, and the subscriptions do help, and
Yeah.
it gives us a monetary boost. And I know a lot of people use like Twitch Prime, which is essentially free if you already have Amazon Prime. So it was just free money in a big pile that was sitting there, and we wanted to grab as much of it as we can.
Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest thing that I remember was, Twitch. I started doing the Twitch Prime stuff, and we were like, I looked at it and I was like, hey guys, this is, free money. How
Yeah,
many of us
Mm-hmm.
have Amazon Prime accounts? Which was, I estimated at 50% of our community, which I think was vastly underestimated. But, you know, I know a large portion of them did, and that's $3 a month per subscription. So if you
Yeah.
add that for a year, that's prize support money. That's sending the camera and the streaming equipment around the country to all the
Yeah.
major events. That's a lot of money that no longer has to come out of somebody's pocket. It's just coming from Amazon for free.
Yeah. Right.
And it made sense if we could find something to keep people interested on a weekly basis or more to, you know, be able to have this. And, we managed to do that, which I didn't always think was going to be possible when we started setting it up. I mean, when we were talking about it at the beginning on the forums about it, we were going, how are we going to fill an hour's worth of show every week with content? Like, we don't have that many or that much going on at all times if there's not a major that just
Mm-hmm.
happened or things like that. And then GIMP started to take off because this was about the time that the OCS started, I think, because that was one of our first episodes, was having Joe on doing the OCS stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
OCS really helped give us content every month. um the majors helped us, the random events that we had, and last year was definitely event light, so to be able to
Yeah.
keep it going without the majors that we didn't have last year, it's it's a lot of work. And
It is.
everybody that's been a part of it should be proud of what we've been able to accomplish so far.
Well, you were saying like that with the OCS and everything. Look what Chris Copeland has done. Like, to say another person who's gone above and beyond with his show. I mean, he's also done over 100 episodes as well.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't even say enough just because of that. Like, I mean, first of all, like he goes on and does OCS reviews and everything, so that's kind of cool in itself. So
Yeah. One thing that people might not know about Chris Gogol's show is his show originally started out as just like a YouTube thing.
Yep.
And me and Rob
really,
kind of convinced him to do it on Twitch weekly, um, so that way we could help reach those numbers that we were talking about that you have to reach per week or
mm-hmm.
month of streaming content. Because like we would hit those numbers when we did live streaming at
Right.
events. We would get great 60 70 people watching worlds coverage, and stuff like that.
And we
But
were streaming for you know
yeah,
18,
12
20
hours a
something
day.
hours.
Yeah.
Like we had the time and the viewers on those, but then it was like, all right, so that was for 1 month. Now we got 2 months of nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Twitch
So
needs you to have a better average. So
yeah, thanks again to Chris. Your show has always been super fun to watch, and thanks again for Chris for being willing to. Because I know he was actually getting some ad revenue and stuff from his own personal YouTube channel when he was doing his streaming and his
Mm-hmm.
uploading on there. But we kind of said, hey, for the greater good, if you wouldn't mind doing your show on Twitch, and then moving it to YouTube, afterwards. To help the PC, and he graciously was more than willing to do that. Chris is a volunteer of the year, a Hall of Famer. So Chris, if you're watching or if you see this later, thank you for helping with the Twitch subscription program and all that.
Yeah.
And it's just more content for Star Wars CCG. Like you said, it's a dead game, so to speak, but we're the ones keeping it alive, and it's been so much fun being able to just be in this community and have all these wonderful things that all the volunteers do. And just by doing subscriptions, you get cool foils, and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So it's more than
Right.
just being able to watch a show for an hour or two, but it's
Well, and
there's rewards there too. So
super props goes out to the marketing team on all the volunteers that keep making that subscription price support what it is.
yeah.
The players really do appreciate that, and I know at times it was a little bit disorganized while things were happening, and I've got to give major props to Jared for being on top of price support the last 5, 6 months. I mean, there's posts telling you exactly what's going out,
Yeah.
when it's going out, and he tries to bundle things to make it really big, and players really do appreciate that, especially from years past where we had trouble getting some things out on time, or things that didn't always happen in you know a a reasonable amount of time. And Jared's really taking it to the next level to make sure that that stuff doesn't get forgotten, because it is important that we give back to the players when they help us out.
Oh yeah.
And you know, and that's one of the things that I like about this show and the Twitch idea was it would give our community another way to get involved and, have a lot of fun, and make some free money and get some prizes. So,
So again,
um,
you guys started Holotheater. What brought about the name Holotheater? Like,
So
that was all Jerry.
when yeah, I came up with the name, but it's obviously it's a Star Wars card, or a name of
yeah.
a Star Wars card, Executor, Holotheater, whatever. But at the time, most longtime Star Wars community members, they'll know the name Cam Yanaga from California.
Yep.
He was doing a podcast, just audio only podcast. I guess sort of in the way that like Kendall Corin does his Star Wars podcast. And his was called HoloNet Transmission. And so we were thinking, to kind of keep consistent-ish with that, we'll call ours Holotheatre. So the difference was HoloNet Transmission was more of an audio thing, and Holotheatre is theater, so you'd be able to watch it. Obviously, Cam, he's taken sort of a step back from his thing, but everybody who knows Cam knows that he's just an awesome dude. And he was doing his podcast, and I can't really remember sort of what the theme was, but it was just sort of him talking about Star Wars cards or doing deck reviews or just whatever. And we kind of played off of that. And honestly, what's kind of funny is, I don't know if Rob or Dan, if you kind of remember this, Tom Kelly and Cal were kind of doing like a Twitch sort of show, not very consistently, like every week. They kind of started, and that's kind of like we kind of piggybacked off of that idea, so to speak. Was like, hey, let's use what we have, and streaming was obviously it's been around for a little while, but it definitely in the last every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Esports and gaming and all that other stuff. So we were just kind of trying to capture that lightning in the bottle and get more content created and keep everybody engaged and so Holotheatre's the name came simply out of trying to keep it kind of Star Wars CCG and kind of piggyback of that. So
we also had Holo Table to play on.
Yep.
So you had Holo Table to play, Holo Net Transmission for the podcast, Holotheatre for the Twitch. Like, it just kind of played into all of that so well that, like, once he posted on the forums, hey, this could be the name, it was like, all right, I'm done listening to everybody else's suggestions. This is what we're calling it. I don't give a shit. We're done. No more.
Yep.
And I mean, it didn't matter. I think everybody loved it at that point anyway, and we just ran with it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we could have just called it the Star Wars CCG show, and as long as it was good, people would have appreciated it. But,
I don't know. That would have been kind of.
The Holotheatre is I mean, everybody's played Huntdown or played against Huntdown. Like, that's one of the more iconic scenes in the Empire Strikes Back and the Emperor and everything. And so it obviously be super cool if we could actually be like holograms.
I was gonna say the graphics for it were created by essentially me and with help from my mom who does Photoshop, because I know nothing about Photoshop and layers, and I remember trying to do that stuff for some of the forum games and just totally breaking it. So and we unfortunately didn't have the great Ming around to help us with our graphics, which would have been really awesome at the time. So we got something that is what it is, but I think it works. It doesn't look anywhere near as janky as one would think, coming from probably me or Jerry trying to draw something on a computer. So like it is what it is, and we worked with what we had, and we got it up and running to get things going and see where things happened. We let the chips fall where they did, and we had a lot of help in those early episodes. I know the biggest one I can remember, besides all the guests, but Menzel recording a video for us from Germany and shipping it over to us was really cool. Somebody from overseas being on our show, with what time constraints and everything that we had, and it was really cool.
Yeah, definitely remember that.
We had Joe and his janky wireless where he would blip out or disconnect halfway through all the time, and then just come back mid-sentence on something else. And
and you know what? It's improved. Thankfully,
I,
it's improved.
I mean, I
Right.
hope
No,
so. Like, that
and
was some
honestly,
really janky wireless he was on back then.
well, honestly, Dan, like, I mean, so Robbie and I did the show for a few months, maybe 6 months or so, and then Rob kind of took a break from the game and stuff, and so it kind of sat there for a little while. It's really hard to do that. There's no way for me to be like, I'm just going to do this by myself. Like, no one wants to hear me talk for 60 minutes. Um, but when you and I kind of revived it, back then, you coming into the show, you ended up kind of taking over the stream, and it's become a lot more graphically impressive. There's the ticker at the bottom. We've gotten a lot better at just making it look more professional, more like it should. And I'm
I
sure.
still want to make it better. Like I'm gonna
Of
talk
course,
to I want to talk to graphics, especially Ming, because Ming just does insane stuff that I can't ever replicate. Like
Yeah.
I know Photoshop a little bit. Like the Holotheatre logo that Robbie made and his mom made, I tweaked it a little bit.
The
But
box was hand drawn.
That's awesome.
I remember trying to do that, and it was like, holy crap, this is a pain.
But like the Holotheatre packs that we have, the Holotheatre Heroes packs now.
Yep.
Ming made that, so I really need to sit down with Ming and be like, how can we make this better? If he's willing.
I mean, if it wasn't for Holotheatre, my face would not be on Star Wars cards, and so that's super cool to me. Like, when we were at Nationals, back in July, seeing people open up packs of the cards that you had set up for everyone, and people are like, "Oh my God, it's you!" Like it's still surreal to actually see your own picture on a Star Wars card. And if I didn't, if we didn't have Holotheatre or that kind of thing, that would never be a thing. And it's just super cool, and I'm so happy that we've gotten to the point that we have, and I hope that honestly, just the future is just brighter and brighter, because everyone behind the scenes, the volunteering, the marketing department, the guest hosts that have picked up the slack and kind of made it a little more of a rotation. Like when I had to kind of step back for health reasons or whatever, I was just like, it would be cool if it wasn't just me and Dan. Obviously, we were doing, it wasn't like we were doing a bad job or anything, and I don't think anybody would say that, but having having different perspectives, getting people like Justin Desai, getting people like Scott Lingrell, and everybody has different perspectives and different things to bring to the show, and it's just become so it's very satisfying just to see how it's grown, and how everybody, it's a thing that people look forward to, and that's really cool to be a part of.
Yeah. Like, and I think it. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of that, like I was totally surprised when Justin messaged me. It was like, "Hey, I heard about Jerry. Do you need a co-host?" And I was just like, "Really? Like you'll give up your a weeknight to come and sit around and talk Star Wars? What?"
Yeah, I know you're surprised by that, but like knowing Justin loves the game, and I mean he's on Gimp damn near 4, 5, 6, 12 hours a night, whatever. He loves the game. He'll be on there talking about it as much as he could. So, but one thing I think that this show has really given back to as well is I believe it really helped the marketing department grow.
Yeah.
And become more than what it was 4 years ago when I think it was about 4 years ago when we first started. Maybe it was 3 years ago.
2018 was like when you and I first started it. That was the oldest episode that I still had saved on my computer before my old computer crashed.
Right.
So yeah, 2018. I think I posted it in the Slack chat, but it was like mid 2018 was one of the first episodes.
I think it was like right after Worlds.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
That we did it, and
which that would have been like what, Minnesota or
August
so.
was no, it was
It
it
was
Minnesota?
Minnesota. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, we can
Well,
look it up.
2019. So okay,
It was
2019 was
Germany.
Germany. So 2018 was in Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was
Yeah.
just yeah, the one that's so cool kind of set up. What town was that in? Forget
Oh,
the
that
name.
was in
Oh
the
gosh.
Rutgers or
Yeah. No, that
Yeah,
Rutgers is in
Princeton.
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 No,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Princeton.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in Princeton.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the other one. It was in
That was
Princeton. But
Bastion's
yeah,
second one.
yeah, that one. I think we started right after that Worlds is when we started, and like you can look back at what the streaming at events was compared to now, and you can look at what we had for some of
Oh yeah.
the graphic prizes, that the cards that we would give out, the foil cards and stuff. Like the AIs, I think that we have now just look so much better than what we had 3 years ago, and even way before that. And a lot of that is due to the marketing team growing from this, and you know we now have a lot of people in these positions that do a lot of great work, and I wonder how much of that would be here if we didn't really do the show. How much of the streaming at events would be as well as it is. um
Right.
I know that was a big thing Scott was pushing, but we've learned so much from doing this that we've been able to apply it at those
Yeah.
events, and it makes those events better. It allows us to give better content to everybody watching that can't be there.
Right. Yeah,
And
definitely. Because
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, me and Dan and a few others, we're the ones who do a lot of the streaming at events, but we weren't very good at it when we first started, and obviously we've gotten better equipment. We've got
Mm-hmm.
just having to do streaming every week or just about every week. It allowed us to get better at it because we're just practicing. Like Dan and I, you can speak to this. When we were setting up for nationals in July, it was like, how the hell did we do this? Like, it's been so long since we've had to set up the camera and set up the lighting system, and so
Yeah, it was bad.
obviously but we did it.
We did
Everybody
it.
enjoyed it. We had hours upon hours of
Well,
streaming. We had great games and all
yeah.
that. But
well, we've
so
also learned how to edit the stupid Streamlabs a lot better now, to
That's the
where if
important
there is
part.
a problem, we can fix it a lot faster. I remember so many events where Casey or Tom Kelly or me are all trying to work through events, calling each other when half of us aren't even at the event, and struggling to make things work. And having remote commentators, and now we don't. Now we have people on site at almost every event that we run,
right,
and that's
Yeah.
a big difference in production value.
100%.
Um, it really makes a difference to have those little things. And you know that was kind of what I envisioned when we were setting this up, was that extra money that we got could go and fund a lot of that stuff. We
Yeah.
got an extra $200-300 a month off of Twitch from this. Great. That's 3-4 grand a year that we can apply towards improving our content quality. And
Yeah,
look where it is. I mean, we've grown leaps and bounds, which is impressive. And it's a
yeah,
lot of hard work from a lot of people.
It
yeah,
is.
definitely, definitely.
So now you guys have been, like I said, you guys initially started this. Did you really envision it going to the point that it is right now?
Not especially not initially. Like we were just kind of flying by the seat of our pants or whatever that phrase is. Like we were just like, oh, let's do this and we'll see see where it goes. Like I don't think Rob or I ever thought that it would basically become like one of the flagship things of Star Wars CCG, especially when it comes to marketing and the outreach to the community. Like we've always had the forums, especially in the first part of the players' community days. That was where everybody talked about Star Wars
Well,
cards.
it
And
was
then we've
deck tech
got
first and then the
sure,
forums.
sure, sure, deck tech. Yeah, like I was on the forums all the time when I first got back into the game back in late 2008. Um, but if we were just a message board where the community congregated, I don't think things would be as good as they are now. You know, we have our Slack chat and our Discord channels where people like to talk about stuff or arrange games or talk about even not Star Wars related things. But like since we've all been in this community for so long, or a lot of us have, and you know, it's just hanging out with people. You guys are my best friends. Like, you know, it's the people that I've known for decades now, and you know, it's being able to create more content for the people that I care about and I know are interested in watching, and then it also helps our exposure to the new and returning player market. If some, I know I've seen a lot of stories about people like, oh, I happened to come across someone streaming a GEMP game, or I happened to see that the PC was there and I saw they had a Twitch channel, so I watched this show, or I watched someone doing an OCS stream or world stream or whatever, and having more content, more you know, things that are going on, it leads to people remembering that they really liked playing this game back in the day, and I hope that a lot of players who are new and returning, you know, got some good, you know, exposure, or they got their exposure through things like Holotheatre, or through things like Gogol and Show, or maybe they were first coming back and they played a game on GEMP, and they're like, oh, I was so close to winning this game, or whatever, and you know, Gogol tells them, hey, this is what you could have done here, this is what you could have done here, and they continue to play, they continue to get better, and they turn into players like that we see that are newer ones and becoming really good members of our community.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly had no expectations of this doing anything. I just wanted to prove the people that were saying we wouldn't get really any money from it wrong.
That was kind of a chip for people like, no, you're never gonna do this.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of doubt, you know, and we're like, well,
who doubted you two?
I don't want to name names.
I
remember a couple, but I don't want to name names. Like to keep it a nice family content, because we all know how I am. So, they you know, we had a couple people that didn't really think that we would get it, and my point back was just, what does it hurt to try? You know, at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt anybody for us to take the shot and see where it goes. So did I expect it to get here? No. Did I hope it would get to this point? Sure. Do I hope it gets better? Yeah, of course. I mean, there's always room to improve, and there's always, you know, more things that we can do to make things better for everybody and get our brand out there and get more people interested. And, you know, we have a fairly large community for a game that's been out of print for as long as it has. I mean, you know, when you hear about other games that you know, like I've played Destiny and I've played some of the other stuff. I wasn't big into those communities, but you know, I was in a couple Facebook groups or whatever. And when you see, well, you know, the Decipher Star Wars group is still around, why don't we do what they do? And it just floors you that, you know, we're around, you know, in the gaming community, people have taken notice that, hey, these guys are still here making cards after 20 years. Why can't we be just like them? And
because they don't have Scott.
Well,
Scott does help. Uncle Scott is a big help. It's like, I know there's other dead card games that have tried the whole players committee thing, like Lord of the Rings trading card game from Decipher. They have a GEMP. You can go online and play GEMP Lord of the Rings, and I think they even have some of their own like custom cards from The Hobbit and stuff, like the Hobbit movies, since those were never printed by Decipher. But like, you don't see them having a weekly show on Twitch. You don't see them doing world championships still. You don't see them doing, you know, this kind of stuff.
It's not even just you don't see them doing world championships. You don't see 70 players of theirs fly to a different area in the country to all get together to play a world championship.
And then another 70 people watching it online.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, like, you don't see that. And, you know, this show helped build and keep people together, I think. And it's really cool to see that some of those ideas that Jerry and I had of being able to bring on players like Justin or Bastion or Joe or, you know, Chris Kelly, you know, and then even the up and coming guys like Drew and Matt Lutz and
Erling.
You know, those guys that, you know, Charlie and, you know, Dennis, you know, being able to bring those guys on and let them get exposure and talk about their experiences, and it adds to the community feel a lot. So that way, new players can look, when they go to an event and they can see all these faces that they already recognize from this show, and it makes it
Good point.
easier. And the other aspect of being able to bring on the PC, which they've been, after we got it started, they've been really, really supportive in coming on and helping us do things. Scott, Chris Kelly, Jared, Chris Menzel, they
Me.
come on, Ming, um, every one of them come on and help us, produce content. Chris Kelly and the design team came on to do the spoiler episodes. I mean,
Mhm.
that's really cool. How many other, I mean, how many games even do that kind of stuff, really? Like, nobody brings on their own designers, really, and talks about stuff. I know Magic kind of did with Mark Rosewater way back when, but they don't do it on a basis like what we do. And, you know, it's very unique that we can provide this kind of experience to people. And, I'm excited to see where Holotable is in the next 100 episodes, so we can look back and go, holy crap, what, you know, it's even grown past what we imagined, midway through. So,
Right.
Mhm.
Right. 100%.
So let's, before we all get teary-eyed here, let's go into some important things that everybody should need to know. Uh, Really quick, again, Worlds is in about a little over a month and like
month
a
and
week.
6 days.
Yeah,
Like,
month and 6 days. So we have
yeah. So
34
yeah, 5
players
weeks.
registered.
Yep.
Like, I'm looking right now. I don't see Joe. Oh, wait, there he is, Joe Olson. So he has a chance to
Repeat.
repeat. I also see that Chris Menzel is going. He's flying in
Yeah.
from Europe, so that's going to be awesome.
That would be cool. I would love to see him.
B
Such a
Fred's
great dude.
going. That's going to be fun. So it's going to be a good time. Lee Edwards continues to make a return to the game. So Robbie looks
Love
like
that
he's
guy.
going. So
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's still early. I know there's lots of people, like, I'm 100% sure Justin and Baroni are probably going as
it
well.
better.
I'm pretty sure Matt Lutz is going. I know the Atlanta guys and Drew and Kessling and Jeremy won't be able to make it this time. But Minnesota will have a good crowd there. I would imagine that Werfs and Harpster will show up because
Mm-hmm.
We
they
usually do.
always do. Hopefully they'll drag Kyle to the event.
Hopefully.
And make sure he actually makes the plane and gets there without any issues.
You've been pretty
Um,
good for a while now. Showing up.
Yeah.
And then, it's up in the Northeast, so, the Virginia guys, I'm sure, will be there. The Northeast guys will be
Mm-hmm.
there. Um, which is quite a big group of people. Uh, Brian Fred's team of the 99 Red Luff Balloons will probably mostly be there.
Oh yeah, and
Wow.
just having our first in-person World Championship. Obviously, back in July we had nationals in Denver, which was it was surreal almost, like actually being
Yeah.
back in a big room of people playing Star Wars cards again. But actually having it be the World Championships, I know every major is a big deal, but the World Championships do mean just a little bit more to most people, just because if you win that, you're the world champions or something. There's a good mystique about saying you're the world champ as opposed
Yeah.
to just the NPC champ or the national champ or whatever. But
I don't know. Try telling that to Joe, who went 3 for 3 so far in the last 3 majors.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, especially with some of them being online, like it was really cool to see him. Obviously he's won big tournaments before, but with the cards not lighting up for you, it definitely makes a
Oh yeah,
difference.
it does.
And it'll be cool to have. Obviously I'm not trying to take anything away from the online majors, but I still think that the in-person majors, winning one of those is in my opinion,
It's
a harder
tough.
task
It is.
than winning a Genf game.
I'm not
Well,
disagreeing.
and it's
Having
also tough traveling and sleeping somewhere you're not used
right,
to, having to
staying
get
up
out of
till
bed.
2 a.m. and
Right,
play
like,
testing. And
it's just a different beast than playing online. Like, I can sit at home, play online, and sit in my boxers and we're good. Like no
Right,
one knows.
right.
Please
I
don't.
can
Right,
just
exactly.
Please don't.
I can just walk over, get something to drink, get something to eat. I don't have to fight the elements of,
Right.
if
You
I
just
can
you tell
speed
your
now, I
opponent,
can
I'll
go
go
get some food.
BRB, and you just go grab a sandwich or go use the
Yeah.
Right.
restroom. You don't get to do that in an in-person event.
No,
So,
like
Yeah.
you can't. You start looking around round 3 and 4, going, all right, if I concede now, I have 30 minutes to go get a burger. Or you
right.
know, or you have somebody that's kind enough to go, hey, I just lost really bad real quick, so I'm gonna go get me and a bunch of people some food real
Yeah.
fast. And if you're really lucky, you have Ryan Jellison and Cam buy pizza for the whole event.
Well, I know Ryan Jelson signed up for the main event, so maybe he'll do that.
Nice. That'll be good. He's
He's
one of
good
my
people.
favorite Star Wars players.
Yeah. So let's talk about the OCS really quick. So back in August, the August OCS is ended. Bastion ended up going 12-0.
Congrats,
No
Bastion.
surprise
That's
there.
pretty sweet. Is he already qualified, or was that
He
his
was already
Yeah.
qualified, yeah.
Okay.
And Charlie continued his streak to go 11-1.
Yep, Charlie went 11-1.
He's on a roll. He's
Yeah.
on a roll.
Paul Myers went 11-1. Gemp Tom went 10-2.
Okay.
So
I still like to see Gemp Tom show up to a real event. That
So
would be
would
super
I.
cool. I know it was a couple Endors ago. He was rumored to be possibly attending, and he wasn't able to make it. But Gemp Tom, if you're watching, I'll pay your entry fee if you're willing to go to Worlds or something like that, because it would just be super cool to see somebody, to see you show up to a real event and
Yeah.
see if it translates. Because yeah, I think he was on an episode of Holotheatre, or maybe
No.
maybe it was one of Cam's shows or something. I can't remember, but yeah, he seems like a really cool dude, and
Yeah,
I'd
he
love
does.
to see him test his chops out in real life.
I
Yeah,
will say,
and-
I kind of like this, though. Down here at number 59, Chris Kelly went 1-11.
Yeah,
And he's designing the cards.
I can
Interesting.
explain how he lost one game.
Ooh. Do
Did
tell.
you
Well-
beat him?
Yeah, he couldn't hit defense value 4 and 5 with his guns in Shadow Collective.
Wow.
That can happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
I
really
think he
love
missed-
Destiny in that deck.
I think he missed about 11 shots in that game. Yeah. I mean, I tried to tell him you miss all the shots you don't take, but he wasn't going for that. So
The old Wayne Gretzky approach.
yeah. But what's interesting is we did that one episode with Charlie, and we asked if 9-3 was good enough, because we
Yes.
had 3 people sitting there at 9-3, and at the end of the month it didn't happen.
It didn't happen,
and
no.
We had 4 people that went better than 9-3, and the top 3 were already all qualified. So
Yeah.
it was kind of a big stomping to the ground of some really good players going,
Yeah.
nope, 9-3 is not going to be good enough this month. We're going to put you back in
I'm
your
sure it helps
That's kinda
if they're
funny.
trying to get one of the at-large bids, but
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it does. It's just, you're not going to qualify this month with a 9-3 record, is what
not when you have
basically
people going
Bastion,
12-0, 11-1, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's for
like Bastion, Charlie. Well, Bastion and Charlie didn't finish their games until
The last
Charlie
day.
finished it. Charlie finished his the last day. I think Bastion finished his that last week,
Yeah.
and Paul finished his, I think, like a few days before Bastion did.
Yeah.
And 9-3 was looking like it was pretty good, almost, with a week and a half or so left, and then, boom.
Yeah, the big
Not
boys
good
came
enough.
out to play.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
and then if you notice, September's already started. Austin Madison out in North Cal is currently in the top spot. He's got all of his games done.
Oh, really? Where
Yeah.
did he go?
He's 3-9.
Oh.
I don't think that's gonna be good enough.
Yeah, I don't think-
Give him the participation trophy, especially if
Now-
you get one game done in a day. Like,
What's-
that's kinda,
what's
I guess,
more interesting,
36
though-
hours or whatever.
Yeah. What's more interesting is Timo Dillon. He's only got one game done.
Well, there's still 20-something days left to.
I
to
know.
There's
finish
also,
them up.
But he's
But
done
there-
within
there
the
was-
first week.
yeah, but there was a new sealed event going on today, so
True.
I'm sure he spent all his time and effort in that. Plus, I watched that Dylan game, and that was just mean. I used to think highly of Timo, and then I watched him play that game, and I think my opinion went a little bit down.
Wow.
The recycling Fambas in OA was not very nice.
I
As
have
a
heard people
Gungan
playing that deck
energy
before.
shield,
Fombas.
I
Fombas.
I
Fombas.
wanted, if I could have talked in the chat, I would have told him he's an evil person for doing that to his opponent. I
Yeah.
mean, his opponent would draw 2 Destiny and they'd be less than the Famba's forfeit, and the Famba would soak it all up to go to the use pile and then get redeployed next turn right out of the reserve deck. And it was just
Yeah,
a repeated beating, and I was like, that's not very nice.
That
yeah. When
doesn't sound nice.
those Gungans energy shield stuff, and so when it gets like, if you can get it going like quick and
Yeah.
get it all set up,
Yeah.
like it's really hard to crack getting through that. You have to really get to really know what you're doing.
Yeah,
to
well, I
break
mean,
that sort of loop there, or just get lucky with some good draws.
well, you also need to hit the right characters to be able to shoot at the vehicles. And if you can get like P59 on the table and can, track some
Mhm.
decent
He's
Destiny,
huge.
like
Yeah, he's huge. in
it,
that.
But-
it starts adding up to a lot.
But then you miss with a resistance character though with OA. You should just say, oh, subtract 2.
yeah, but then they're
Like-
having to do that on your shot, not on your battle Destiny, and so then you might be able
True.
to cause more attrition to get around.
Yeah.
So they have to forfeit the Famba and something else. But yeah, it still wasn't a pretty game.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into some. Let's do some swing and a miss really quick, guys. What do you say?
Sure.
That was great.
Got
That's a
4
hit.
questions. Let's do this. So this month will be the wildest OCS month ever. There's 7 bids at stake.
Well, I'll go ahead and start it off here. If
Yeah.
you're telling me that there's 7 bids up, and this is the last month of the OCS, right?
It is.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if we've ever had that many so late. I know the OCS only gone on for a few years now, but I don't know if we've ever had that many open bids in our last month. So I'll say it's a big old 2-run home run right there. It's a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hit just because, like you're saying, we haven't had that kind of level of a month with that many bids up for grabs. Some of them are up for grabs for people who have been playing the whole 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are up for grabs for just playing the second half of the season, and then we've got the 2 up for the month as it is. So it's not everybody that plays this month will have a chance at those 7 bids, so it's not that wild and crazy, but it's bigger than anything we've had before it. I mean, there's still half the field almost
Yeah.
up for grabs.
And I want to say, whoever came up with the idea, I don't know who it was. I feel like I even kind of suggested at one point of splitting the OCS into 2 seasons or whatever. That was a great idea because trying to play every single month for 6 solid months and keep your at-large bid score up there, it's tough.
It's tough.
Like
Yeah.
people have lives, personal stuff. You can't always get in 12 games every single month.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to say, okay, well, I can really focus on July, August, September, but the months before that aren't really good for me. Like that was a really good idea.
Yeah.
Agreed. I mean, I like that we try things and see how they go, and if it doesn't work, we can revert back. But this is one
If
of
your
those
opponent
times.
allows you to revert.
But this is one of those times where the PC hit a home run with that idea, and I think it
About
made
time.
I think it made everybody have a better quality of life when it came to this. I know last year going into Worlds, we had a few players that I know that were just burned out from the OCS grind, Texas Mini Worlds grind, and all that. Like, people were just burned out,
Me.
and this year felt a lot different, and
Yeah.
it felt like it wasn't as much of a grind.
I agree.
So-
Okay, let's go talk about question number 2, which is, Jerry, you're going to return next year as a regular co-host. So I'm not saying this year, being that it's almost over, but next year you're going to be back as a regular co-host.
He will
Let's-
drive his forklift into a wall and say that he can't
Already
because of
happened once,
medical
actually.
issues. I know Jerry's super busy, so I would
Well,
say
when I say a regular co-host, I'm saying like not every week, but
Oh.
more often. Like
well more
on a
often than
rotation.
0. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. I'll say
Um,
it's a hit with more often than what he has done this year. Sure.
I would absolutely love to be able to do this more often. my wife is due with a baby in March, so I'm gonna go ahead and say swing and a miss, just because I don't want to promise people something that I can't end up delivering on. Um, but you know, I am gonna definitely try to at least maybe once a month or something like
Okay.
that to try to or
Hey,
uh,
that's more regular than you are now, so that's
Yeah.
still a hit.
Yeah.
that's correct. And I
That's what
mean,
I was going on.
I'm just hoping.
yes, I would love to be able to get sort of back in the groove. I haven't really been playing a ton of Star Wars cards. It's been as my new job. I don't get home until a lot later, like 2 hours later than I used to. So it's a lot of times it's like I come home, I throw some dinner down, and I've got to get ready to be online here. So um, I will definitely, for everybody's sake, definitely try to be a little more involved. I want to get back into playing a lot. We have our Colorado regional tournament coming up. Not this weekend, but the next weekend. So I'm gonna definitely try to get back.
Yeah.
I'll never stop being a member of this community, but there's active playing and really focusing on playing cards, and then there's just helping out, being a volunteer, doing what you can. So I'm gonna definitely try to be a lot more active. But like I said, I will be having my first kid in March, so there might be some lulls here and there, just going down
That's
that
what
road.
grandparents
but,
are for.
Yeah.
True. We have a good couple pairs of those here, so
Yeah.
we'll lean on them as much as we can, and it'll definitely be a pretty different path for me. I was definitely, it's exciting and terrifying at the same time. So we'll see how it goes, and maybe Holotheatre and playing Star Wars cards can kind of be my outlet where I got a couple hours while the baby's sleeping or that kind of thing, and I'll try to squeeze in an OCS game or sign up for Holotheatre and that kind of stuff. So.
Well, there's a lot of people in the community who can help you out, like give you helpful tips on like finding outlets with the kids and everything. Just think.
I was thinking I'll just drop her off at Kevin Shannon's house. Just let Kevin Shannon raise the child. It seems like he's doing all right.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask for advice from these two people on the show with you.
Yeah, I got no kids.
No, yeah, I
Obviously.
wouldn't.
Okay.
Obviously.
On to question number 3. Our next question is: Chris Kelly will not repeat as the guest of the year this year.
Guest of the year?
Yeah, he was the
Chris
guest
Kelly?
of. Yeah, he was our guest of the year last year. He's not going to repeat.
I'm gonna say it's a hit on that one. We can't have scrubs who go 1-11 in the OCS like be the guest of the year. Like we gotta get some higher level skill players and that. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a hit. He will not repeat as guest of the year because we gotta step our game up.
I mean, if you're giving me Chris Kelly or the field, I'll take the field. So, yeah, it's a hit. There's been a lot of people on as guests, and a lot of them are very deserving, and a lot of them are very likable. I mean, Scott's been on numerous times, and I wouldn't put it past people to vote for Scott on it. So
Scott's been a co-host. He hasn't been the guest.
He's been a guest. You and I have done one where he was a guest.
But one thing I will say about Chris, Chris being our design lead or advocate or whatever the term is, and card design being probably one of the things that people are most interested about Star Wars CCG is new cards. What's this going to do? What do you come up? Being able for Chris to have the time and being willing to come on and talk about design and new sets, spoilers, and things like that. Like I'm sure some of those episodes are probably some of the most watched ones because people want to know, V set 12, 13, 14, whatever is coming out. I want to know what these cards do before they get posted on the forums or that kind of thing. And being able to hear from the advocate, from the guy who probably had his fingers in designing those cards, explain what they're going to do and what their thought process was. That's got to be some of the more interesting content that obviously every episode's super fun and cool, but having, like I said, design is probably one of the places that people want to hear from the most, and him being so willing and able to come on and help us with that stuff. We love Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say Chris Kelly isn't deserving of it, but there's a lot of people that you could say that about, and I mean, even if we just go to 5, math says taking the odds on 5 versus the odds on 1 and is a better decision.
Well, you got to remember,
Um,
like, people don't want to see Chris Kelly. They're not interested in Chris Kelly. They're interested in the set. I mean, if you put on, like, if Robbie became the design advocate tomorrow, we'd have just as many people, if not more, coming on to listen to Robbie over Chris Kelly.
no. They would be coming on to vent at why the PC made such a terrible decision and letting me be the design advocate.
Well, I'm just using you as an example.
I was giving a reason for why they'd be there. But, you know, apparently you and I are now dead to Chris Kelly, Jerry. He is very upset at what we said, and I'm sure his tears in Tulsa are drying out really quick from that dry heat that he's now in. So,
Well, I would have said nicer things about Chris Kelly if he would come to nationals. I mean, he's in the next state over. Come on.
I would
seriously.
say nicer things if he guaranteed that he was going to Worlds this year too.
I would say nicer things to Chris Kelly if he decided to make WAP a real deck.
WAP is a real deck.
It's not. It's terrible.
I went 3-0 with it in this OCS this month, and I went 3-0 with it at Worlds last year.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a deck than maybe you think it is, Dan. But it just has some horrible matchups sometimes. Like like Scum was really bad when Scum was super popular a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Well, it also depends on your build of WAP. Like WAP has multiple things.
I'll take it back. I'll take it back. Let's get off the WAP too. I will be nicer to Chris Kelly when he comes on to Holotheatre without the Yankees hat.
Yeah, that's not.
I think it's just sewn into his head.
Yeah.
I don't think he.
The day he takes off the Yankees hat on Holotheatre, I will promise him that I will say the nicest thing I can think of to Chris Kelly.
I will say this as somebody that's roomed with Chris Kelly at multiple events. He sleeps in that hat. He showers in that hat. He doesn't take that hat off.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him without.
Well, we
at
got
least a hat on.
Let's get off of the Chris Kelly trip and let's go into our last question of the night, which is Holotheatre will be around for another 100 episodes.
I hope so. I'm gonna say it's a hit just because I don't want to see such a good thing die. And I think we have people that are willing to step up and keep it going. When you were out a couple weeks ago, we had, instant volunteers of, I'll help out, whatever, let's go. What do we need to do to make this happen? And it got done, so yeah, I think that's a definite hit.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a hit as well. I mean, obviously, like we were talking about right at the beginning, ever since Dan, you took over the show and really kind of made it your, one of your main focuses of your volunteer time. It's just gotten better and better and more consistent. And then we've had, so many awesome folks come in and help us with guest hosting and being, on there. I can think, what is it, like Scott, Chris Kelly, Justin, Jared Napolitano's run a few shows. Matt, CRG has come on and been a guest host. Corin, Kendall Hallman, Justin Miyashiro here from Colorado has definitely been a frequent volunteer, and so the community is really sort of rallied around this, and 100 episodes, that's another 2 years basically of doing shows, and so I mean in September 2023 when we're coming up on that 200 show milestone, I know for sure that we'll definitely be here, and Holotheatre will be just crushing it. So,
unless COVID gets us.
Well, I mean, I took my horse dewormer pill or whatever, so I think.
Okay. So that's all we got for Swing and a Miss. That's all we got for Swing and a Miss tonight.
Someone had to go there.
Before we go into, let's go into our deck building challenge. Let's talk about August really quick. So we had 3 people who entered into the deck building challenge for August. Those people are Idea Track, Hazardville, and Dorsch 1.
Okay.
So
I don't know who the first guy is, but
Idea Track's the guy.
Justin.
Yeah, and Idea Track came up with the All the Jedi format. So 3 really good people. Yeah. So to see who wins the pack, Well, I brought up a random number generator, so I'm going to press the button. Again, it's 1, 2, and 3. So let's see who wins it. Justin Miyashiro wins the pack.
He's got the high ground.
He does. But you know what? I'm in a generous mood today. I'm giving a pack to all 3.
Well, look at you. It's a celebration. 100 episodes, might as well.
Yeah, why not?
Deck building challenge, definitely. I don't think me and Robbie had that really when we first started. I think that was probably something that maybe you and Dan, you and I kind of came up with.
Mm-hmm.
I know back in the day, I think I was the one who sort of came up with the swing and a miss, it's a hit thing.
Yeah.
I was watching like PTI one day, and I'm like, why don't we have like a silly game like this where we just sort of go, yes or no, basically, and so
we can do around the corner.
That's it's been a big hit, and occasionally I don't know how often you guys do it in the last few episodes, but the lore challenge.
That was all you.
That was a Colorado.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was Colorado.
Yeah, we would drive to events, and basically when you're sitting on a 10-hour road trip, killing time trying to get to Nebraska or Utah or Idaho or whatever. Texas.
Who wants to go to Texas though?
We've driven to Texas.
When I was gonna say when Banshee lived in Colorado, they drove to Texas.
Yeah, me, Jan Westergaard, Mark Van Driel, Banshee, Tom McGee. We've definitely made those kind of drives.
Yeah.
You would just grab a box of commons and just, all right, this card says this. What card is it? And I know people have really gotten a kick out of the lore challenge, and we always called it Lore Wars instead of Star Wars. But it's been super fun. So. Thanks for coming up with the deck building challenges, because that, I know, especially with GEMP, it makes you don't have to actually build decks and that kind of thing.
Well, there's
you
also
can ever have a GEMP deck building challenge kind of thing on a weekly basis without GEMP, or a monthly basis without GEMP.
Yeah.
So.
Well, especially when we don't really hold monthly locals and stuff like that at all times either. Playing on GEMP makes it a lot easier.
It allows it to be more inclusive for the whole.
Right.
Well,
you getting tired?
I'm always tired. That's my secret. But speaking of which, let's go into our September deck building challenge.
I like this one, by the way.
This one is
it's a hit.
Build a deck with your starting location as the Executor Holotheatre.
And that doesn't count hunting.
Oh, yeah, because you
so it's starting location.
Starting location.
Okay.
Yep. It has to be the Holotheatre. That's it. Again, you got to play in a league game or like an open series game. You have to win. And as always, you got to submit a screenshot deck list and a replay link. So, build your deck around the Holotheatre. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's some cool stuff you can do with the Holotheatre. So, obviously it's a mobile site and all that good stuff. So you don't have to worry about some things there. Yeah. So,
well, you can drain at it now and not worry about placing your objective out of play.
Yeah,
true.
There you go.
Right, and they have that new Executor stuff, right?
Yeah.
The flagship operations and that kind of thing. I wonder if people will kind of key off that. So, win a game with the Holotheatre as your starting location. Obviously, can't do a hunt down, but do it as your starting location. Win a game, like Dan said. Submit your links, submit your replay, and your screenshot. Win a prize. So, I don't know if.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I don't know if Dan will agree to this, but I'll overrule him on this. I do think all my Jedi will count for this deck building challenge.
Okay.
Oh,
you have to. You have to get lucky and open the card first.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem adding that on there.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's okay. It's okay.
Sure.
I mean, sealed games are a little more random, so you might just end up kind of luck boxing into a win. But I mean, we're in the mood to celebrate, so I'd say
Yeah. It's fun. That format's fun. Let's throw it in there.
Seems really fun. Yeah. I need to play some games in that format. Open up some packs at least, because that's always the best part about sealed.
Yeah, that's all I seem to do, and then I look at it and go, I don't know what to do with this. I give up. I'll wait till next week when we get another pack, and then I'll open up packs.
I will say, I wish we got to keep the cards.
Yeah.
Like, I wish it wasn't just like, the cards go away at the end of the month.
Right.
Let us keep the cards.
Right. Especially the foils, right?
Yeah. That's Batmouse. I don't like him.
Nobody likes Batmouse.
Yeah, hardly anybody likes Batmouse.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But I will say this. So I know we have the 100th episode right now, but this entire month is going to be a celebration of all things Hollow Theater. We're going to have Chris Kelly on, Scott Lingrell, Jared Napolitano on. I think the Bad Deck Breakdown guys are going to be on with us as well. And then towards the end of the month, we're going to do something a little bit kind of cool to celebrate the community. We're going to do a thing called, you've seen the Oscars, you've seen the Emmys. Well, now we're going to have the Hollies. So
That's what you're supposed to say. The Dundies.
no, I don't watch that show. I've never watched that show.
That makes me sad.
Well,
That's
That's the office, right?
That's a miss. I don't like that. That's a miss.
well, I can't get past the first 2 episodes. I don't
Just
care how good it is later.
season
To the
3.
second season. But anyways, we're off
But,
track here.
yeah,
So
yeah,
what
we're
are
off
the
track.
Hollies, Dan?
The Hollies are, well, you're just gonna have to wait and see. Basically, well, myself,
That's code
Robbie-
word for he doesn't know yet.
no, myself, Robbie, and Jerry are gonna be the judges, and we're gonna have some categories like the best Hollow Theater viewer, who's the fastest player on Gemp, who's the slowest
Paul
player, on,
Myers.
who's the slowest player on Gemp, who's the best, who's the craziest deck builder. So little things like that. So, and that's going to be towards the end of the month.
Awesome. So yeah,
That sounds like fun.
Make sure you stay tuned and keep your eyes out on Holotheatre for that, because I'm sure that'll be
Yeah.
everything that Dan is involved with comes with prizes for those involved.
Pretty much.
So I'm sure you'll be able to get some cool prizes if you happen to be picked as like the best subscriber or best viewer or whatever. So
Yeah, like we got a few. We're gonna have some good ones. So that's gonna be towards the end of the month. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun month this month. I'm definitely
Yeah.
looking forward to it. But again, before we go, I just want to give a one last shout out to everybody who's been a part of the show, everybody who's been a guest, but especially to Jerry, Robbie, Scott, Chris Kelly, Justin Desai, Jared Napolitano, Matt Luss, Kendall Holman, and Justin Miyashiro. Big thanks to those guys. And
So
and
I
for
will
you
not.
as well,
Yeah, I
Dan.
was
no,
not gonna let you walk away without
Yeah,
getting
you
a
are.
thank.
no,
Nope.
No, Dan,
No.
You're not gonna watch The
more than
Office. You
anyone
get
else.
thanks.
Yeah, Dan, you more than anyone else, so Robbie and I may have started this show and kind of gotten it all, rolling down the hill, but you put it in the place where it needed to be, and I know the way that you're not gonna let it get, you're gonna only make it better.
It couldn't have
So,
ended up in better hands.
Agreed, 100%. Thanks, Dan.
Yep. Thanks. Dan.
And thanks
You're
you
welcome.
to everyone who's watching and everyone who will watch this on YouTube.
yeah,
Like Robbie was saying earlier, we never thought that it would become what it has, and to be basically the mouthpiece of the PC that gets seen by people. It's super. Well, it's almost overwhelming how awesome it is. So thanks to you guys for being interested in watching this every week, and just it's super cool, and keep at it, keep watching us, win prizes, subscribe to the channel. It
Come to
helps the
Worlds.
PC out. It
Yeah.
helps come to Worlds in DC in October. It's
Come hang out.
Star Wars is just cool, and
Come
we're all a
hang
bunch of
out. Come
crazy
be.
folks, so
Come join the community of everybody
Yeah.
at Worlds and hang out,
Yeah.
play games. It's not always going to be Star Wars. There will be
Yeah.
alcohol,
no,
and it will
this
be
is
a
a
great
family
time.
show. We can't. There will be alcohol. This is a family show.
at Worlds there will be. I mean, but whatever.
I kept
Anyways.
it quiet about all the other stuff.
What? You bring in some other stuff there, Robbie?
I'm bringing Brian Fred.
Yeah. Okay, that's big enough. But yeah, until next week, everybody stay safe. Everybody take care, and I'll be back next week. So see everybody later. Good night.